The carousel is a spinning. Guys, we are going to go a couple different places in this video before we wrap back around to the Kansas City Chiefs, but it's because the Kansas City Chiefs are the talking point of this video, I promise. There's just a couple bases to cover before we talk about the big things to talk about with the Kansas City Chiefs, and I think there may be a sneaky favorite in the wide receiver the Kansas City Chiefs might be targeting, and I'm not sure anybody is going to be happy. And this is completely speculation on my behalf. I'm just looking at the names out there and what these guys are, what these guys do, and no one's going to... If it works out, everyone will be... We'll get there. We'll get there. But real quick, guys, if you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans, because the Kansas City Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping videos every day of the week, and I hope to have you back for the next one, so make sure you are subscribed in order to come back. We get this from CBS Sports. An article titled Davante Adams Trade Grades Why Raiders Got Better End of Deal Despite Jets Reuniting Wide Receiver with Aaron Rodgers, subtitled Grading the Adams Trade. Got to work on your subtitles, guys. By Jordan Dahani. The Davante Adams saga has finally come to an end. Just over 2 weeks ago, it was reported that the Las Vegas Raiders were open to listening to offers on their star wideout. The New York Jets were always considered a favorite to land Adams because of his relationship with quarterback Aaron Rodgers. And on Tuesday, the transaction finally happened. Adams is being traded to the Jets, who confirmed the deal. The Raiders will receive a conditional third-round pick that can become a second-round pick based on performance, according to ESPN. What milestones must Adams hit? He has to be named an All-Pro on the active roster for the AFC Championship game or on the Super Bowl. Those are pretty lofty goals at this point. I actually thought there were different details to this trade. I thought that Adams could work his way all the way up to garnering a first-round pick for the Raiders. I will have thoughts on the Raiders and the Jets from this as it pertains to the Kansas City Chiefs at the end of these three headlines that we have to get through. From ESPN, we get the article titled Bills Land Star Wide Receiver Amari Cooper in Trade with Browns by Daniel Oyefusi. And the article says this: the Buffalo Bills acquired Amari Cooper in a trade Tuesday with the Cleveland Browns, adding a true number one wide receiver for star quarterback Josh Allen. The Bills received Cooper and a 2025 sixth-round pick for a 2025 third-round pick and a seventh-round selection in 2027. Cooper, 30, fills the number one receiver void for the Bills that was open when Buffalo traded Stephon Diggs to the Houston Texans before the season. And then I threw in this from Buffalo Rumblings because this is going to come back in our discussion at the end of this. Amari Cooper's trade contract details for the Buffalo Bills following trade, subtitled, What Does Amari Cooper's Contract Look Like for the Buffalo Bills? Cooper, who will be 31 entering the 2025 season, is also positioned as an unrestricted free agent after this season. This allows the Bills to evaluate his long-term fit before committing beyond this season. That's a nice way to put it. If Cooper delivers strong results, the Bills could negotiate a new contract to retain him. Basically just saying he's going to be a free agent that they would have to re-sign. Alternatively, if the fit isn't ideal, they are not tied to any future obligations beyond 2024. And I'm just going to jump the gun here. No, they wouldn't be obligated to sign him after his contract expires at the end of this season, but neither will they get back their third-round pick. Okay, fine. It's the price you pay to compete. And finally, we get this. Marquez Valdez-Scantling cut by Bills after Amari Cooper trade. Updated depth chart from Joseph Zucker. The Buffalo Bills released wide receiver Marquez Valdez-Scantling on Tuesday. The move came after the team finalized a trade to acquire wideout Amari Cooper from the Cleveland Browns. Valdez-Scantling signed a one-year deal with Buffalo, reportedly worth up to $4.5 million. He ultimately proved to have a limited role in the passing game. In 6 games, the 30-year-old had 2 receptions for 26 yards and was on the field for just 39% of the Bills' offensive snaps. Now, we're going to start there, but not we're going to start there. This is not the wide receiver that I came to this video, that I'm making this video to talk about. However, this opens up a very large question to me that I am going to ask to you. I put a poll up on Twitter yesterday, and 3/4 of the people agreed with the answer I would have given were I allowed to vote in this poll. Would you rather have Sky Moore, like they do now, or would you rather cut Sky Moore and sign Marquez Valdez-Scantling? Personally, guys, I would cut Sky and sign Marquez. I would rather have Marquez Valdez-Scantling as the final receiver on this roster than Sky Moore. And if you can trade Sky Moore to somebody, anybody, for a 2037 7th-round pick, you do it. You take that trade in a heartbeat. In addition, Sky Moore has 0 productivity for this season compared to the 2 receptions for 26 yards that does have Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Now, that is a question that I pose to you. Answer in the comments section if you want someone yelling at you, because I'm sure that is the type of feedback this question is going to get. Now, moving on, the Raiders. The implications of this trade for the Raiders are devastating. Number one, the Raiders do not draft particularly well. At least they haven't to this point. Maybe that changes this offseason. I don't know. The fact that the Raiders do not have Davante Adams and the Kansas City Chiefs have not played the Raiders for either of the 2 matchups that they will be playing them this season does bode well for the Kansas City Chiefs. Basically, you had a defensive end for the Raiders and you had a wide receiver. That was the roster for the Raiders. They have a couple scary players, a couple other positions, but no stars. This move should spell 2 victories for the Kansas City Chiefs. The direct implication of this trade for the Kansas City Chiefs should be 2 victories this season coming up. Doesn't guarantee it. That should be the case. The Raiders are now absolutely defunct, in my opinion. What does this mean for the Jets? I'm honestly not particularly worried about the Jets, Davante Adams or not. The organization seems to be in chaos. And this is just another sign that it truly is Aaron Rodgers running the entire organization at this point. If you're the Jets, I don't know why you make this trade. I don't know why you give up potentially a 2nd-round pick that I think is actually, for that level, a 1st-round pick. I think that article, but I couldn't find an article that corroborated what it was that I thought the trade was actually for. So maybe I am actually completely wrong. Maybe I was just keeping up with Twitter drama at that point. I don't think, while this does make the Jets better, I don't see them winning everything. I don't see them going all the way. I just don't think that organization has it in their blood at this point. From the top down, I don't think that organization has it. So will they be better? Yeah. Will they be dangerous? Sure. Will they have an opportunity to pick off any team in the NFL on any given Sunday? Yeah, they will. They really will. I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think they have the actual chutzpah to make it through an entire playoff gauntlet. What does this mean for the Buffalo Bills? The Bills are selling out for Cooper, who is 30 years old, has problems with drops. Don't get me wrong, good receiver. He's going to make a difference for them. He does have a problem with drops. He is 30 years old. And like we read in that article from the Buffalo fan page, or the Buffalo Rumblings page, guys, he's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season now. You traded a third-round pick from next year's roster for 10 games, and then the playoffs, obviously, but 10 games of a 30-year-old wide receiver. You had better be absolutely positive this puts you in playoff or Super Bowl contention. You had better, if you are the Buffalo Bills, be absolutely positive this gets you your ring. You couldn't do it with Stephon Diggs. I don't know why you think you can do it with Amari Cooper. A third-round pick, you say what you want about it. It's not the number one pick, right? It's not a first-round pick, not even a second-round pick. Third-round picks are supposed to start for you. Third-round picks are occasionally supposed to start for you. Third-round picks are absolutely supposed to get reps for your football team. You're not just not getting that third-round pick for next year. That's a 4-year rookie contract you will not have because you went out and got a 30-year-old wide receiver with drop problems and 10 games to go in the season, 11 games to go in the season. That's going to be rough for that franchise if it does not work out. These are the death by 1,000 cuts that inferior organizations go through. And I don't mean inferior as in bad. I mean inferior as in you don't have Brett Veach, Andy Reid, and Patrick Mahomes. Brett Veach, Andy Reid, and Patrick Mahomes are setting things up. So this is why I'm not really surprised that the Kansas City Chiefs did not take home either Davante Adams or Amari Cooper. Would it have been great to have both of them? Yeah. It would have been fun to watch Davante Adams. I can't stand the person. Amari Cooper, I know infinitely less about. Either of them would have been fun to have on the football field for a season, for the remaining 11 games, for the remaining 12 games of the playoff run. Sure, absolutely. I don't know where you go from there. Just like the Bills are currently in the position where they will be missing a 4-year deal with a third-round pick, that's a top 100 player in the draft. They're going to be missing a top 100 player in the draft for 11 games of Amari Cooper plus whatever happens in the playoffs. You'd better win. You'd better win. Brett Veach, Andy Reid, and Patrick Mahomes have always had an eye on the future as well. So let's get into some talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. They did not get either of the two jewels atop the wide receiver trade market, but that doesn't mean they're done. This is a list of names that are circulating time and time again. There's a couple names on there that I haven't put on these lists before, just because I didn't believe them. But the more I see these names circulated out there, maybe there's something to it. So Robert Woods, pretty obviously out there. Treylon Burks, what do you think is with that mold of clay? Can you make him into an NFL wide receiver? Deontay Johnson, who I'm not sure is actually, I think that the Panthers are going to ask for more than Deontay Johnson's production is worth because of what he might be worth to the organization as far as just selling your fan base on the fact that you have a chance to win is concerned. So I don't know if that move gets made. I don't know if that move gets made for the Kansas City Chiefs. That is one of these names that I think would be higher on the list than others for Brett Veach. My personal favorite at this point in time, Mike Williams. I want to see him as a Kansas City Chief. The Jets basically have to get rid of him. I don't know what you do. Maybe you cut him. Well, if you're going to cut somebody, you're going to cut the last guy on the roster. I don't think that's Mike Williams without having looked into it, but whatever. Probably you can move on from that asset. DeAndre Hopkins would be fun. Maybe. Um, I don't know on the DeAndre Hopkins thing. I don't know exactly what it is that he would be doing in this off. Obviously, he would be stepping into the Rashee Rice role. I don't know how well he fits the Rashee Rice role. I could be 1,000% wrong on that. Cooper Kupp. I have never had Cooper Kupp in any of these discussions we've had about trade and the Kansas City Chiefs and wide receivers. I did not think he would be available. I've seen more and more reports that he's being floated out there. So if that is the case, I think that probably there's a chance that that happens. I don't know what the asking price would be. I don't know exactly what the I don't know how well. Let's look. We have Cooper Kupp contract. He's expensive, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he signed a 3-year, $47 million deal. He makes $15 million this year, $12.5 million next year, and $14.8 million the year after that. Maybe that's doable for the Kansas City Chiefs. They could shovel some money around, shuffle some cash around. I cannot speak. I don't know exactly what it is obviously Cooper Kupp would be an upgrade over the receivers on the roster. I think that he would be an upgrade even over Rashee Rice, even at this stage in his career. Not a complete upgrade. Let me reword that. You're getting someone who is going to, if he's healthy, produce. You're getting someone who is going to provide the type of target that Patrick Mahomes. So one of the things, let me keep backtracking here. Patrick Mahomes early in his career was absolutely devastating on the scramble because Travis Kelce could find dead space in a defense, and Tyreek Hill was fast enough that he could just take off. Cooper Kupp's not fast enough that he's going to just take off. Cooper Kupp is smart enough that he's going to find dead spaces in the defense. Patrick Mahomes has not been quite as deadly on those rollouts lately as he has been because he's not really on the same, in my opinion, this is what's happening. He's not really on the same page with anyone except for Travis Kelce. So long as the defense can locate Travis Kelce, he's not finding an out. If we reintroduce that element of Patrick Mahomes' game, that he is just able to scramble out there and destroy teams because people are getting open, it's game over. And I think Cooper Kupp provides that. Now, who is this name that I have talked about being maybe the forerunner for this, the front runner for this? It's Tyquan Thornton. And here's why. Tyquan Thornton is Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Tyquan Thornton is the type of player for whom Andy Reid seems to have a soft spot. And so Tyquan Thornton, 6'3". He's a little shorter than 6'3", but basically 6'3", 181 pounds. That's MVS all day long. 4.28 40. That's way better than Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Now, here's where it gets absolutely wild. Do you see that number listed next to the 10 there? The 10-yard split for Tyquan Thornton's 40-yard dash was 1-4-1. I don't know what the record is. I don't know what is humanly possible. A 1-4-1 10-yard split has to be pretty far up there. So, for example, MVS had a 4.37 40-yard dash, a 1.49 10-yard split. Tyquan Thornton had a 1.41 10-yard split. So way quicker than Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Here's where things are interesting as well. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, a 30.5-inch vertical. Tyquan Thornton had a 38. Brett Veach not particularly talented at drafting wide receivers. We can admit this. The vertical seems to be something he likes. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, a 10-foot-4-inch broad jump. Tyquan Thornton, nearly 11 feet with 10-foot-11. This is a player that has a whole lot of tools. If we look at Xavier Worthy's 10-yard split, 149. Xavier Worthy, who has the fastest 40-yard dash in NFL history with a 4.21, had a 149 10-yard split. Tyquan Thornton has been a bust in the NFL, a second-round pick in 2022. His rookie season, he had 45 targets, 22 receptions, 247 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That sounds a lot like Sky Moore's rookie season. His sophomore campaign in the NFL in 2023, he had 23 targets, 13 receptions, 91 yards, 0 touchdowns. So far this season, 5 targets, 2 receptions, 27 yards, 0 touchdowns. Has been an unmitigated disaster for the Patriots. The Patriots, however, don't know if you knew this, don't have Patrick Mahomes. Sounds like an excuse, sounds like a silly thing to say, sounds absolutely wild. I know. Patrick Mahomes has taken guys like Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Juju Smith-Schuster to the Super Bowl to get rings. Juju Smith-Schuster was later dubbed unworthy of the Patriots, from whom Tyquan Thornton would be coming. Juju Smith-Schuster was cut by the Patriots. Marquez Valdez-Scantling was cut by the Buffalo Bills. Patrick Mahomes is an out-and-out force multiplier. Andy Reid is an out-and-out force multiplier. If you give these guys someone that has a 1-4-1 10-yard split on a 4.28 40-yard dash, this could get a little bit wild. Now, you're not going to have to give up a third-round pick for him. He's in the final season of a busted second-round rookie contract. I think you can get Tyquan Thornton for pennies on the dollar. I think the Kansas City Chiefs might make this move in addition to another one. Right now, straight up, flat out, I would take him over Sky Moore to round out the roster. Right now, straight up, flat out, I would take him over Marquez Valdez-Scantling coming back. MVS knows the system. Sky Moore knows the system. I don't care. This is a player that you can line up in the huddle and tell him, just run straight. I don't care what they're doing. Run straight. Just go. And guess what? He's going to draw coverage because you have the golden goose at quarterback. If I had my choice, and you have to understand that the asking price is on the table, right? If the asking price was fair for all of these prospects, so Treylon Burks, you're trading a 7th round pick, Tyquan Thornton maybe a 6th round pick. It just in reference to that, right? Cooper Kupp, maybe you're looking at a 3rd. Just like Devontae Adams and Amari Cooper. If I had my pick, number 1 would be Mike Williams. Number 2 would be Cooper Kupp. Number 2 might be Deontay Johnson. One or the other. Number 4 would be Robert Woods. Just looking at these names, number 5 would probably be DeAndre Hopkins, but you're hopefully getting him for pennies on the dollar. Tyquan Thornton would be very far down that list, but I would love to see Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes be able to team up with Tyquan Thornton if you're getting another wide receiver as well. Would be absolutely massive for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week, and I hope to have you back for the next one. So hit that subscribe button. I've got to get to 5,000 subscribers eventually.